Swadikhan, thank you for joining us on Newsline. We are broadcasting live on NBT, Radio Thailand FM 88, and on NBT World. It's Friday, January the 23rd, and you're with me, Tra Chirakalsan. And welcome to today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward. In our first story, the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, or ICT, is showcasing Thailand's potential at the ASEAN Telecommunications and Information Technology Ministers meeting currently organized in Bangkok.
The ICT Ministry of Thailand is playing host to the 14th ASEAN Telecommunications Information Technology Ministers meeting, or TELMIN, under the theme Transforming ASEAN, Moving Towards Smart Communities, in a bid to foster the existing presence of the ASEAN community and to enhance Thailand's competitiveness in light of its future as a key player and leader in information and communication technology within the ASEAN region. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha presided over the opening ceremony and said that the meeting serves as a platform for promoting and developing cooperation in terms of telecommunications and information technology among the 10 ASEAN member states, dialogue partners, and International Telecommunication Union, or ITU. One of the participating delegates, Honorary Mario G. Montego, Secretary of the Philippines Science and Technology Department, reiterated about the future direction of ICT under the regional cooperation.
Let's go to cooperation. For example, earlier the Prime Minister talked to us about he was very looking positively on how to use ICT to improve agriculture. We have similar programs. We would like to cooperate, and I would look at it that other countries that wherein agriculture is still a major industry looks at ICT to improve not only the productivity of the farmers, but for our farmers to get better prices. Again, this is through cooperation with the other ASEAN countries. Through this cooperation, we are talking here of cybersecurity, which is a major concern, and that could be only addressed through cooperation. ASEAN-wide, even beyond ASEAN-wide, meaning with our partners, Japan, China, and Korea, helping everybody, for all of us, to really benefit from ICT. Now, the theme today is really captures everything, moving towards smart communities. That would mean, again, ICT to improve better quality of life. ASEAN, we are talking about communities, but we are also talking about the whole ASEAN. I mean, we are talking about few words, but it captures everything on how powerful ICT is.
The meeting is participated by a number of high-level delegates who comprise ministers in charge of ICT, senior telecommunications, and IT officials, as well as representatives from 10 ASEAN countries and the dialogue partners. Niranut Traitakwanit reporting.
An impeachment hearing against former Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra has been concluded, while the final verdict will be rendered today. National Anti-Corruption Commissioner NACC member Wisha Mahakun appeared before the NLA, or National Legislative Assembly, for a closing statement for the impeachment hearing against Ms. Yingluck. The former Prime Minister is being tried for allowing corruption to take place in the rice mortgage scheme operated by her administration. Mr. Wisha said the former Premier should be charged for her negligence and for not attempting to stop corruption. In response, Ms. Yingluck denied all of her charges, saying the 2007 Constitution is no longer in effect, while the current law does not grant the NACC the authority to impeach individuals holding political positions. Therefore, she said removing her political rights or putting a 5-year political ban on her would be considered unlawful and unjust. She also disagreed with the NACC statement to the NLA It claimed that the anti-graft body had spent 1 year and 10 months investigating the case, saying that such a statement was false as it only took the agency 101 days to investigate and 21 days to examine the evidence. She went on to claim that the rice pledging program was actually beneficial to the nation and its people, citing that the program created a cash circulation of 380 billion baht. The National Reform Council whip has revealed the legislature's upcoming plan to adjust its working schedules. The NRC's whip's Secretary General and spokesperson Alongkorn Polabut yesterday said the legislature has scheduled a session on Monday, January the 26th, to deliberate a draft amendment on the anti-corruption law which the National Legislative Assembly has presented. Mr. Alongkorn said that the NRC considered the draft amendment relevant to the reform of Thailand. Also on the agenda are the report on the NRC's recently held vision workshop and an open floor for council members to share their opinions on the elimination of corruption. On Tuesday, January the 27th, the NRC will invite all members to discuss approaches to eliminate social and economic inequality in order to help Thailand achieve sustainable development. Mr. Alongkorn added that February, the NRC will change its Monday and Tuesday meeting time to start from 11 a.m. in order to allow all committees and subcommittees more time to do their jobs. The Constitutional Drafting Committee has made some amendments to parts of the draft charter that are related to the selection of court judges. CDC spokesman Kamnoon Sitisaman said that the drafters' review of Part 3 of the draft Constitution involving the rule of law and court on Thursday has moved on to the section related to the administrative court and the military court. Mr. Kamnoon said that the CDC resolved to amend the provision about the selection of the Supreme Administrative Court judges by suggesting that the entire process must be endorsed by the Committee of the Administrative Court Judges and the Senate before the result is submitted for the royal approval. Mr. Kamnoon added that the CDC also adjusted the details of the selection process and suggested that the division to oversee financial cases and the start of the court budgeting for the Administrative Court and the Supreme Administrative Court. He went on to say that the charter drafters have not made any amendment to the section related to the military court. The charter drafters have started reviewing a proposal to add a provision related to a prohibition on the use of hate speech by the media. The Constitutional Drafting Committee took a look at the proposed addition of a provision that would prohibit the media from employing any hate speech. However, some members suggested that no such specific prohibition was needed in the new Constitution. CDC members who said such a provision could be added to the section about the rights and freedom of the people because members of the press are also citizens. However, most members agreed that because of the widespread use of hate speech, suppression is needed before it leads to more hate or genocide, especially when the use of hate speech appears to have no bounds. Minister of Interior General Anupong Paujinda visited a waste management company in Pathum Thani yesterday. The company Rak Ban Rao, which generates power from waste, is located in Taklong municipality. It is able to dispose of 120 to 150 tons of household waste daily, converting them into 1 megawatt of electricity every day. Currently, the facility has accumulated over 50,000 tons of waste, which it is supposed to dispose by the end of this year in compliance with the province's policy. General Anupong later visited the waste separation factory of Don Mueang Patana Company in Lamluka district of Pathum Thani. The facility handles 150 tons of trash from the nearby Thai market daily, about 7 tons of which are recyclable. The Royal Thai Army Commander-in-Chief has revealed he is satisfied with his visit to Cambodia, where both countries had the opportunity to discuss many cooperation projects. The Commander-in-Chief of the Royal Thai Army, General Udomded Sitabut, has revealed that the outcome of his official visit to Cambodia this week, where he was welcomed by the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for National Defense for Cambodia, General Thia Ban, and high-ranking military officials of Cambodia. The Thai Army chief said both countries discussed cooperation in many aspects to enhance operations in border areas. Both countries will cooperate and work together under the agreements that have been made. The Army chief also revealed that the Cambodian Army chief has requested a boost in forestation of both areas. In response, the Thai Army already started the forestation project in areas of the 1st and 2nd Army region of Thailand to increase the forest density in the area. He also said that Cambodia is supportive for the establishment of the Thai-Cambodian Special Economic Zones, as both countries will help upgrade trade cooperation and volume between the two countries. The Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, or BMA, is to install extra elevators and facilities for persons with disabilities at BTS stations, according to the Bangkok Governor, Mom Ratchawong Sukhumpan Bodipat. The construction of extra facilities have been finally moved forward after the Supreme Administrative Court ruled that the BMA and Bangkok Mass Transit System Public Company Limited, or BTS, as the co-supervisors of the BTS construction, installed the facilities within a year after the date of the ruling. Mom Ratchawong Sukhumpan said the ruling was intended to protect the rights of disabled people and elders to have equal access to mass transport in the same way as normal people have. Mom Ratchawong Sukhumpan admitted that the extra elevator installation has been delayed due to legal obstacles and public disagreement to any expanded structure at BTS stations. Residents thought that the addition would reduce their convenience and hide part of their landscape. However, the BMA will pay more attention to the needs of the disabled in future construction so that they can have a convenient and safe trip. The Ministry of Education will revise its teaching curricula for primary schools in reaction to the finding that thousands of Thai pupils are still illiterate. The Office of the Basic Education Commission will withdraw the current reading subject, which teaches children to read by reciting words, and will revert to the previous method, which focuses on spelling. The decision was made upon the suggestion of Her Royal Highness Princess Maha Chakri Sirinthorn, who voiced concern about the inefficiency of the word recitation. The princess, who is widely admired for her language abilities, also learned how to read by spelling during her childhood. According to the statistics from the Office of the Basic Education Commission, there are 2 groups of illiterate children in Thailand, with a number of around 26,000 people. The first group consists of children of underprivileged people, such as the poor, ethnic minorities, and alien workers. The latter comprises of school pupils who face learning difficulties brought on by the current recitation-based reading subject. According to the Bangkok Mass Transit Authority, or BMTA, the 3.65 million baht price quoted is reasonable for each of the 489 NGV-fueled buses it plans to purchase. Acting chairwoman and director of the BMTA, Prani Sukason, defended the budget after an anti-corruption in government agencies watchdog yesterday submitted an open letter to the BMTA board urging it to look into the deal. The group claimed that the price was simply too high, saying that each NGV bus should not cost more than 3 million baht. Ms. Prani said her agency had produced terms of reference along with the market price for the vehicle. She said the BMTA had also invited an association of anti-corruption organizations to join the meeting when determining the said market price. The private sector also attended the meeting, making the quoted price acceptable to all sides. The acting BMTA chairwoman remarked that if the project did not get a nod, commuters would be the ones to suffer, being forced to use the service of the obsolete and aging bus fleet currently on the streets of Bangkok. The Government Public Relations Department yesterday held its 26th Music in the Garden. This time the event featured a special appearance by Princess Ubonrat Ratchakanya. The theme of the weekly event, which was designed to create unity among all Thais, was Happy New Year. Princess Ubonrat sang to the audience the song I Will Survive by a famous singer, Gloria Gaynor. Also joining the princess was a prolific singer, Chompu Fruity, best known for the song Kon Khang Kieng, or The One Beside Me. The event was held in the conference hall of the Public Relations Department in Soi Ari Sampan on Rama 6 Road, Bangkok. All are, of course, welcome to join free of charge. The Moral Center is developing a moral province model in hopes of making Thailand a moral country. Parents will be encouraged to set good examples for their children. Advisor to the Moral Center Board, medical doctor Ponded Bin Pratip said the morality problem in Thailand had been accumulated for a long time and tended to worsen. Politicians, civil servants, business people, academic institutions, as well as the media failed to set a good example for children and adolescents. The center, therefore, had to urgently campaign for morality, ethics, and good governance by using the moral province model. The government is setting up the national moral assemblies in 4 provinces, including Pichit, Pathalung, Buriram, Ratchaburi, before expanding them nationwide. He added that the moral campaign was not enough to turn Thailand into a moral country. People in society should also help instill morality and ethics in children and adolescents. Parents and teachers had to be good role models for them as well. And that's the end of today's edition of Thailand Moves Forward. Before we take a quick break, let's have a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices.
Maintain a strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. The 8th core value, maintaining discipline and respectfulness of the law and the elderly.
How could you do that to me? Stop it! Huh? Don't you get it? I don't need you anymore. Enough. We're through. There's someone else in my life.
Say no to the past. Bring your own bag. Say no to plastic.
NBT World, a 24-hour English language television service operated by the National News Bureau of Thailand, or NNT, is designed to bring the most reliable information about Thailand to the international community. NBT World is available on various platforms, including via C-band set-top boxes, GMMZ Channel 202, PSI Channel 272, and a live stream on thainews.prd.go.th/newsing. You can also follow us on facebook.com/NNT News or download the PRD News EN application on your smartphones. NBT World, a vision of Thailand.
Taking a look now at the ASEAN and Beyond segment. The Philippines on Wednesday accused China of undertaking massive reclamation work on several reefs in the disputed South China Sea, expressing concern the activities could fuel tensions. Undersecretary for Policy at the Philippine Department of Foreign Affairs, Evan Garcia, said the reclamation activities were a clear violation of what had been agreed by China and Southeast Asian states in 2002. Mr. Garcia said photographs showed what called huge activities designed to change the status quo. Manila and Washington, the two closest and oldest allies in the region, discussed at length the conflicting claims in the South China Sea, a potential flashpoint in the Asia-Pacific region. China lays claim to almost all of the South China Sea, believed to be rich in minerals and oil and gas deposits. The Philippines, Brunei, Malaysia, Vietnam, and Taiwan also have claims. Some aerial photographs taken in October last year showed several Chinese-occupied reefs in the Spratlys had grown 5 times in size, with some new structures built and what appeared to be an airstrip. Beijing says its actions are within the scope of Chinese sovereignty. Taking a look at some breaking news, Saudi Arabia's King Abdullah passed away at exactly 1 a.m. this morning, state television reported early today, and his brother Salman became the new king. King Salman has called on the family's Allegiance Council to pay allegiance to Merquin as his crown prince and heir. Abdullah, thought to have been born in 1923, had ruled Saudi Arabia as king since 2006, but had run the country as de facto regent for a decade before that after his predecessor, King Fahd, suffered a debilitating stroke. King Salman, thought to be 79, had been crown prince and a defense minister since 2012. He was governor of Riyadh province for 5 decades before that. And in other news, Yemeni President Rabu Mansour Hadi yesterday resigned, throwing the volatile Arab country deeper into chaos days after Houthi rebels battled their way into his presidential palace. Ex-President Hadi, a key counterterrorism ally of the United States, stood down abruptly shortly after Prime Minister Khaled Baha had offered his government's resignation, saying it did not want to be dragged into an unconstructive political maze. This was an apparent reference to a standoff between Mr. Hadi and the Shiite Muslim Houthi movement, which has been holding the president a virtual prisoner in his own official residence. Mr. Hadi's decision marked an abrupt turnaround from Wednesday, when he said he was ready to accept Houthi demands for a bigger stake in constitutional and political arrangements. The Houthis' defeat of the presidential guards had already added to the disarray in a country where the United States is also carrying out drone strikes against one of the most powerful branches of al-Qaeda. Iraq's Vice President Iyad Olawi yesterday said that oil-producing countries must get together and act on falling oil prices. Mr. Alawi was speaking on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum, or WEF, in the Swiss ski resort town of Davos. Vice President Alawi told reporters ahead of a session on Iraq and Syria that it is a high time now to get a conference ongoing with an all oil-producing countries to decide the oil issue, whether it's Russia and the rest to be part and parcel of an overall meeting of oil-producing countries. Oil prices have fallen almost 60% since June, reaching a 2009 low close to $45 a barrel earlier this month, partly because of OPEC's November decision not to cut output. The Iraqi vice president's comments came after the Iraqi Prime Minister Hadel al-Abdi said the drop in the global oil price was disastrous for his country's finances and could hurt its ability to fight Islamic State militants. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook. Just simply type in NNT or check out our website at thainews.prd.go.th/newsing. We're going to say goodbye with some beautiful footage of cherry blossoms in Le Province. Have a wonderful day. I'm Pra Thirakosan. Sawasdee ka.